Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Welcome back to another Miniature Monday. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Demogorgon Prince of Demons miniature. So this is from WizKids. It came out in 2022, although I picked this up much more recently. The original retail price for this was $90 US. However, I got this on a really good sale, and I actually want to say and I hope I'm not remembering this wrong, but I want to say I actually got this on a 50% off sale. So I ended up getting this for about $45 US. I'm Canadian, so if I were to buy this at full price Canadian, it would have been probably around $120. And even at the $45, I think it still worked out to about $60 Canadian plus tax and shipping. And you better believe I got hit with the customs charge on this one as well. So that was another like $20 that I had to pay on top of everything else. But it is what it is, I guess. But we'll take a look at the packaging here. You got the Demogorgon, mini here. You got like the gaping maw or whatever his lair. In Savage Tide, it's the Gaping Maw where you encounter him. Sort of this like savage jungle type of setting. And yeah, it looks pretty cool as far as like the artwork on the box is concerned. On the front here, you just have like the open window where you could see the miniature in its various pieces. And that is really the main thing that I don't like about this particular mini, because everything else is absolutely fantastic. And we'll take a look at the actual mini here before I get into my complaint about the assembly. But like, this thing looks awesome. Right, you got the two heads there. You got like just the absolutely like feral ferocity of this creature really shows through incredibly well. You do have like the scaled legs there, ending in the clawed feet. You do have the tail there, although it's not quite as forked as it was in like older iterations of the artwork for the character. And of course, you do have the tentacles here as well. So this is a really fantastic looking miniature, and they did a really great job with only a few colors of paint, and I really respect that. But I will say the assembly part of this I was not a fan of. So for starters, you actually had to assemble the end of the tail on here, and I don't know why, because like it doesn't fit in 100% perfectly. Now you could use like an X-Acto knife or something to like file to sort of smooth everything out and get it to the point where it does sit flush, and that is definitely an option. I'm not that invested in trying to put together an expensive pre-painted miniature. So I would have liked for this to have been, really, this should have been just fully assembled from the beginning. Because the other two parts that you have to put in here are the arms, and you can see they don't, again, quite fit in perfectly flush. With like the holes that they have to go in there with the rest of the mini that they line up with. And this one here really struggled to get this to actually go in here. If I can get a good look at the gap there. Like, I really struggled to get this one in here. And part of the reason for this is this miniature is sharp. It is covered in spikes on the back, so if you're like grabbing the back of this thing, there's a spike going right into your finger here, and if you're pushing in on the joint, you want to kind of do it as close to the joint as possible, so you're getting spikes here. It's uncomfortable to grab from anywhere else. I legitimately had to put a glove on to get that final spot, because like trying to grab it from here and push it in was not working. The only way I was able to finally get this one into the joint was to literally grab it by the spiked portion of the shoulder, and with an incredible amount of force, finally I was able to get the shoulder or the arm into the socket there. So I really think that for the amount of money that you're paying for this, especially like if you bought this full price, that's with shipping, even if you're in the States, you're still paying $100 for a pre-painted mini that you have to put together. Whereas like the packaging here is actually pretty close to the overall like width of the creature. So they only needed to expand the box by like, if it was maybe an inch or two, bro, like if it was 2 inches wider, then you could have easily fit this in here without any issues. It could have been fully assembled. It could have been nice and flush. It would have looked a lot better, because like where you did assemble it, like it stands out, right? Like there's the There's the gap on the tail. That looks pretty obvious. And again, like this arm doesn't look too bad. But if you're looking from the backside here, like this one does not look good. But other than that, I mean, talk about like a really beautifully sculpted mini. The hair, like all just the wild hair looks great. You've got the spikes all throughout the hair as well. You've got like tufts of hair coming off the shoulders. I really love the fact that it looks like he's been through like wars and battles, and where his skin is cracked or broken, there's this like demonic yellow glow coming out through it. Kind of the same color as his eyes. So there's only a few colors that were actually used on this mini, but they did such a good job. And I'm really in awe of this miniature, except for just the issues with trying to get it put together. That's the only thing that I think is holding this back from being just an amazing miniature. And, I think like WizKids has an amazing sculpt. They did a fantastic paint job. Just make this box a wee bit wider and have the thing assembled, fully assembled, for the customer. And you've got, just an amazing, amazing product. It's still incredible for what it is. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I love this miniature. I bought this because I'm running the Savage Tide campaign, and I wanted something to sort of commemorate that. So that's why I've got this here. And again, it was a really good sale price. So that's why I ended up picking it up. I was going to pay full price for it, but at a 50% off or 45 or 50% off, whatever the deal was that I got this for. At that point, I'm definitely going to pick this up. So I have that in my collection now. But I do have other Demogorgon-related miniatures. So let's go ahead and showcase them here as well. So we're going to go back to 2004. 18 years before the release of this guy. We had the D&D Miniatures game, and the D&D Miniatures game had a set called Archfiends. And the Archfiends set had what were called aspects. So aspects were like much weaker versions of the actual creature that would be sent to like do things for like their cultists, or they were just sort of meant to be a way of being able to encounter some of these like really world-ending or campaign-ending threats in a more manageable way. And one of the ones that I ended up getting first from the different aspects that were available was the aspect of Demogorgon. And as you can see, compared to our buff boy down on the table there, this guy he's a little on the thin side, but this is still a really cool miniature. You do have the two baboon heads there. If I can get it to. You do have the two baboon heads, one's screaming, one's more like contemplative. It's kind of actually represents the dual aspects of Demogorgon a little bit better, where one is much more savage and feral, and the other head is a bit more calculated. But this is a really cool looking mini. I do like the color choices here. It actually reminds me of the old, VGA graphics back in the day, like the magenta and cyan kind of colorations to it. But a really cool looking mini there. It has the forked tail. Just the single tentacles there, and again the two baboon heads. So we have that. We also have from 2017. We've got and there might be some glare, so I apologize here, but I'm going to keep this sealed. We've got the Demogorgon mini. This I believe was inspired by the miniature used in the Stranger Things Netflix series. But this was actually a gift for you if you had picked up the Classic Creatures collection that came out back in like 2017. So they released a set of miniatures that were based off of the first edition AD&D Monster Manual art. They might have even been based off of the cover art for the original first edition AD&D Monster Manual. I cannot remember. I didn't pick up that set. It was a little bit too pricey for what I was willing to pay for stuff, or what I'm still willing to pay for stuff. However, I was a pretty loyal customer at the game store where I ended up getting this from, and so I walked in one day. It was when I picked up the Stranger Things starter set from him, because I had that pre-ordered, and he just, gave me, like, when I was ringing it up, he just set this on the table and said, "You didn't get this here." So that's sort of the thing. And again, I've never disclosed where I got this from. There are several game stores in the city, so I'm not going to say which one it was. It could even be one that's not even there anymore, because we have had a couple of them at least close out since I moved away. So I'm not saying that I'm responsible for that, just the way that things timed out here. But yeah, so we got 3 different Demogorgons, 3 different color schemes. This was more like a green and yellow, with the baboon face colorings of like the blue and the red and the yellow eyes. Have been pretty consistent for most of it there. Yeah, this guy's got yellow eyes as well, so I guess that's a trait that's carried over throughout the decades. But yeah, so there we go. Those are my Demogorgon miniatures. Let me know in the comments below. Have you picked up any of the Demon Lords minis from the Icons of the Realm series? There's a couple that I have my eye on. Like, I'd love to get the Grozit mini, because he wasn't in the adventure path, but he actually orchestrated the events that led to the Shackled City adventure path. So, like, the Adamarcus's imprisonment was all done because of Grozit. So it'd be kind of cool to have that as a connection to that campaign. I would also like to get the Yinogu mini. I'm pretty sure they have one of those as well, and there was a Baphomet one that they had too. So there's a few different Demon Lords that I have on my radar, but I'm gonna wait for a sale. But if you have any of those, let me know what you think. Did you pick up the Demogorgon mini? Did you pick up the classic Monsters collection back in the day and got this version of the Demogorgon? Let me know that in the comments below as well. Anyway, thank you all so very much for your time. I truly appreciate it, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.